Hey, what do you say, Frankmeisters? Good evening. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. I thought we'd continue from last night, what discussions we were having. And plus, I've got a call out I need to make on somebody for some shit they tried to pull today. But before we get started, a special friend of all of ours, she hasn't been on for very much here lately. She's been dealing with some medical issues and getting things taken care of at home and her health and everything. So let's bring her on, Miss Kristen. Miss Kristen.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're back at it again.
It's so good to see you.
Hey, if it wasn't for these guys in here dragging me out of the woodworks, I probably wouldn't be here.
I know. You and I've talked, and it's like, we're both kind of like, we've kind of got comfortable in our comfort away from Delphi. And
Right.
It's like, yeah, I get it. I totally get. Hey, Teddy.
Oh, Lord, he's here.
He's here.
Yeah, oh, Lord.
Hey, Teddy.
What's going on, y'all, in that chat there?
But yeah, it's good. Hey, Jinx, how are you, my dear? Hey, Rescue.
Oh, Marv's in the house.
Hi, Marv.
Man, they're coming in.
Hey, Farmer.
Whoa, Farmer's in the house?
Yep.
Hey, man, I sent you a text message the other day. I don't know if you still have the same number, bro.
Teddy said he's here and he's on his bullshit.
Oh, God. Well, the link's in the chat, dude, if you got something to bitch about.
Hey, Shane, how are you?
Is the new name Aurora? Well, we know who I'll Be Frank is because he'll pop in here as I'll Be Frank and Gibbo at the same time.
Hey, CJK, how are you?
Rescue's been picking at me today, but bullying me. Yeah. So, otherwise, how have you been health-wise?
Good.
I know we all know that you had the surgery.
Yep, I had
all that
a month ago, and I'm just recovering from having the hell raked across my abdomen. That's all I can say. I'm really doing well, but I'm not back to working out yet, and that I'm sad about. But I'm still sore, and I still have bouts of nausea, which is weird. Not sure what's going on with that. But other than that, I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good. You know, I was thinking about you yesterday. I was like, man, nobody's seen her in a while, and nobody's seen me in a while. That's why I gave you a shout. But then you said that you weren't feeling good. I said, well, don't worry about coming up if you're not feeling good. I mean, I totally understand all that.
Yeah, I really did want to come on last night, but I was not feeling good. So I was like, I wouldn't have been good company. Sounds like you didn't need me anyway. Sounds like you had a great show.
Yeah, Ruckus and Gibbo were up here. It was, we were letting loose.
That's good. Every once in a while, you gotta.
I mean, we still got other people we need to call out. And like I said, one especially, and me and you just talked about this gentleman, and everybody knows he ticked me off this morning. When I first woke up this morning, I seen this damn message from him saying, Frank, Ruckus, you guys have never been to the crime scene. You've never been on the bridge. You've never been down the hill. And I about blew a fucking gasket coming out of bed.
I don't understand how anybody that has watched you or me, because I've had you all on my show as well, and we've talked about this so much, how they could even say that you have not been to the crime scene.
Me, Marv, a bunch of us the first time. Me, Marv, and a bunch of us with Hoosier Cold Case the second time. The third time, they had to carry me out of there because I overheated. I've got videos of all this shit, so I don't know if you're trying to pick a bone with me, dude, but you picked the right person because I done been face to face with you once before about the shit that you try to pull with the family, kissing their ass, and as soon as they turn their back, you're talking shit. Now you're going to deal with me because you ain't going to call me out like that, brother. And that's why I invited your ass up here onto my jury or into my witness stand because so I can blast your ass in front of everybody. Don't tell me what I've done and haven't done for this case.
Exactly.
More for this case than 90% of the people that's covered this case.
Absolutely.
Physically. 90% of the people that have covered this case has never been to Delphi.
As Jinx said, Frankmeister literally went out there and spray painted the trees, excuse me, and which turned out to be the closest to the actual crime scene.
Yeah. You know, and if it wasn't for, I got a bunch of great friends, Rescue Old Dogs, you know, Jinx. None of this stuff would have never happened. Me getting up there, videotaping, doing lives.
Yep.
So, dude, suck a fucking big one. Okay? And your best bet is to leave the guy, I'm not going to say it because I know she's watching, the GD community, dude, because you don't have a clue on what the hell you're talking about. Go take your Geritol and retire somewhere.
Yep.
Tired of this shit.
I mean,
I got more on this case than, like I said, almost 90% of these people.
Yeah. It's insane. It's just like I told you backstage when we were talking. I am so flabbergasted by the people who are absolutely have mental illness that follows this case, because that's really what I see it as.
Exactly.
You know, Tom Webster talked about it, and we all talk about it. It's, you know, that we call them the Delulus and we call them all these different names. But some of these people seriously have mental illness that's unchecked.
You know, and the worst part about this whole situation is because I've confronted his ass numerous times. Hold on, I'm about to message his ass on his Facebook. Yeah.
It's, if you hear it's thunder in here, if I have to leave in a hurry, it's because we go into a tornado warning. We are under a watch right now. And the storm's about 7 miles from me, so we'll see what happens. But
yeah, Marv's been sending all kinds of warnings out today because she's up there in Wisconsin.
It's like 98%. We're like at 98 degrees, and the humidity is off the charts. It's insane.
Bring your ass up here, bro. Panel. And talk that shit there.
Yeah, no kidding. How is everybody, though? It's good to see everybody in chat. I've missed talking to everybody, and I've not been around because I don't care about my community. I do. It's just
we got lives to live, man.
I was going to say, and I have a lot going on and stuff. I have my grandson, who's the kicker, the kicker for the high school football team. He graduates tomorrow, or what is today? He graduates on Saturday. My entire family is coming in tomorrow for graduation. So things have just been insane, you know, with surgery. Right. And there's just been, like you said, life happens.
You know, and I've been fishing already this year, and I'm catching up on a lot of different stuff that I missed over the last 4 years. Don't get me wrong, I'm still keeping an eye on Delphi because of the appeal, which I see that a lot of people are. And I done called out Angela Sadlowski about this because she posted somewhere about, I can't wait till March of this appeal. What are you talking about? Apparently you're not following shit like the rest of us. There's been an extension granted until June 9th. So apparently you're not into the case like you make everybody think.
But we knew they were going to get an extension granted because they didn't have time. Once they got the new attorneys appointed, they had to give them time.
Well, not only that, people don't understand this, is that Jody Williams, the court reporter, she's the only one for Judge Gold. So she's got to take care of every case that Judge Gold sits on. And if there's a conviction, she's got to deal with the appeal for that case, this case. Not just Delphi, you know.
Yep.
That's why it's taken so long.
No, I know.
And that's the reason, one of the reasons why Judge Gold put that order out that nobody is to show up there to get any type of documentation or any exhibits or anything, because you're taking away from Jody's time trying to get shit accomplished.
Right.
You know, but yeah.
I've been following, I've actually been following Idaho and the Koberger stuff. I'm going to start probably covering that within the next month or so on my channel, because I'm finding that case even more and more interesting all the time. And he finally announced today, get this, That case is going to take 3 months. The court, the judge announced today that the court will run from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's that's all they're going to have as a court day. You know how long this cases will end up being longer than 3 months. You mark my words, because they have got if we thought we had a lot in Delphi, oh my God, there's a shit ton in this case.
Oh, there's a lot more in that case
because of the death penalty.
Well, and then I've been keeping an eye on a little bit of the Karen Reed and the Diddy cases.
I've been watching Diddy.
And I tell you what, that Karen Reed case, I wouldn't touch that case with a 10-foot pole.
I don't want anything to do with that case.
No.
I did
see it's not all, because now I'm starting to realize we all know that all law enforcement are not goody-goody. We know that.
We know that.
And now I'm starting to see in the Karen Reed case, this is the whole problem.
Yep.
I honestly think they beat the shit out of him and threw him out in the yard to make it look like he got hit.
Yep.
And left him to die.
Yep.
That's how I feel, because she was doing that flirty shit with all those other cops, And then they got this new video that just came out of them at that bar, and you could see there was some tension.
Yeah.
With all of them.
I thought it was interesting that our good friend Susan is covering that case, and she's been there live.
Oh, Lauren. No, not Lauren. Susan. So, Lauren's doing Coburger.
So, yeah. And I'm just like, well, it'll be interesting. His trial starts August 11th. So.
Wow.
Yeah, well, coming fast.
Well, getting back to what we were talking about last night, I had I'll Be Frank was up here. Reckless is up here. Well, apparently the prof is starting to dox and everything again over there on X. And I finally had enough of it, and I didn't make no threats of any sorts to him last night or anything, and I just came out and said, look, you brought all this shit upon yourself, bro. Every last bit of whatever's going on with you, with the other defense daddies, whatsoever, you brought it upon yourself. You took their word on everything they were telling you when we knew, our people knew, that you were getting bamboozled the whole freaking time.
Yep.
And then he wants to start making threats and saying they illegally released videos. And I'm like, dude, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You're jumping the gun before you even looking at shit before, like the video, the 43-second video was released on that website, right? And he said that was illegal. And I said, no, it's not illegal, because Judge Gold had put an order out explaining how it was going to work with the exhibits. Once she put that order out, it was for free-for-all for that shit. And the defense had it all. They already had everything. They were just waiting on Judge Gold to give that signal that the public can have access to it. Once that happened, they started releasing shit. Which was good for us, because none of us had to pay for it.
True.
Absolutely
true.
And like I said, Angela Sadowski and Courtney or Yellow Jacket, they're at the same tricks again.
I don't pay attention to any of them. I've never been on their channels. I've never watched their videos. I get told the stuff that's going on by everybody, which, is fine, but I don't give them oxygen. And that's just the way I feel.
Well, I watched them back in the day, and they haven't changed it. What really burns my ass with all these other channels is that we know that them channels are sitting there lying through their teeth, and these people are so gullible, they want to believe it with the facts right in their face. They're still believing what they're doing and paying these people money.
Yeah.
To me, that's theft.
It's just like, these are the same people that were down in Texas waiting for JFK to reappear. I'm sorry. They just, no matter what you say to them, You can have actual physical proof in front of their face, and they are
Right.
not going to believe you. So my feeling is move on. Don't even engage with them, because you're never going to change.
It's not as easy when the family names keep getting brought
Oh,
up.
heck no. Yeah, I mean, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
When they're,
that-
like I said, when you see people attacking the family, what did Nick McClellan tell us? He told you and I that day, if you have people out there that are attacking the family, let me know. I'll do what I can to see that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby Frank being a smart ass now. He said, so we made 12,000 in a few days. He's talking about that Georgia trip.
That was crazy. That was
just
crazy.
And it's just sickening, because it's making me look at these people like, are you that fucking lazy to where you don't want to work a regular fucking job? You'd rather steal money from people knowing that you're stealing from them, and then you want to read documents on your channel, but you would skip over the important shit.
It's called cherry picking. They cherry pick what they want, and they don't tell you the whole story, or they stretch or pull the narrative in a direction that they want you to go in, even though that's not where the evidence leads you.
And mainstream media does the same shit.
Yep.
And people don't understand that. And a lot of these people watch mainstream. They're only hearing a 30-second clip of what's going on.
What's actually happened.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of stay away from one individual at a news station, because I caught him doing that. He grabbed me after a session in court, and he said, "Hey, Frank, I need some info, man. I need something to put on for noon." So I gave him information, and what did he do? He cherry picked that shit. The information that I just came out of the courtroom with, he cherry picked it and did not tell the other side of it.
Right.
And see, that's why I won't deal with mainstream media. That's why I love Susan Hendricks, because she's straight up with the real shit.
She is the real deal. She gives you she's not there for just the fluff and the, and all of that. And she actually cares.
Yeah.
You can so see a difference between Susan and Barbara McDonald. You sit here and you look at these two people that are journalists, that's what they've made their career be. And as far as I'm concerned, one of them's a journalist, but the other one is not. The other one is, God knows what she is, but she's definitely got some issues. She ranks up there with Bob Motta, and I'm sorry.
I would have to say she's worse than Bob Motta.
Well, but I'm just saying Bob is an ambulance chaser.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
Hey, Teddy.
Turn your mic on, dude.
Hey, Teddy. I can see your face.
Hello.
Teddy.
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties.
We knew that.
We kind of figured that.
We were trying to help you out.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you anyway, so there was no help to be given.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, it's okay. I figured it out on my own. That's how I
what's
roll.
going on, brother?
Yeah, how are you?
Oh, I'm phenomenal. How are you guys?
You see it, bro.
Hanging in there.
Just getting everything off your chest, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I've had a run-in with Sean Bianchi before at one of the memorial walks. I confronted him, got right in his face, and I said, "Look, don't let me catch you ever kissing ass on the family and then turning around talking shit behind their back." I said, "That is not cool, dude." I said, "You're being two-faced." And then he wants to make that comment after the replay of my show last night, and I'm like, "Oh, hell no, you did not just put that in my fucking chat."
I can't believe he said that he has never been, that Frank hasn't ever been to the crime scene. Anybody that knows anything knows that Frank's been at the crime scene. So's Ruckus.
Numerous times.
And so's Ruckus. And I'm like, how do you say shit like that?
If I wanted Frank to make a live about something, I would just tell him he's never been to the crime scene.
Oh, yeah, but that's not Sean. I would expect that from you. But Sean, then Sean goes into, we had the Jinx go call him out on there and a couple other people, and all of a sudden he deletes his comment.
Well, yeah.
Well, then I just went into his Facebook and messaged him, "Get your ass up on this panel on my stand, bro."
Gibbo says,
Yeah, come on, bro.
He's never been to the trial. And
didn't.
I call bullshit on that because that's where I met Teddy.
I don't know. I think you were seeing things. I didn't go. Gibbo's
no, I
right.
stood in line with you.
Oh,
yeah. The farmer, look, not trying to brag, but he's right. I have never had to FOIA request shit. That should tell you something, Sean. If you're listening or watching.
Yeah, Sean. What's up?
You got the wrong fucking dude. And I got all my peoples right here, got my back.
You.
Fucking Teddy. He's already. How many drinks do you have, bro?
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you.
You should have seen Ruckus last night. You did see Ruckus last night.
I did. I was jealous.
And then he went over to Cryptex, and I was talking to him.
Oh, God.
He said, man, I got so damn drunk.
Yeah, that's what I do, too. I get drunk and go over to Cryptex. Get him to read my comments.
You know what? I really like to battle him.
I wouldn't. For why?
So I could put his ass to shame?
Yeah, but with all these people, you're not going to put him to shame. All their people are going to just go, yeah, he's lying.
He does not get the following that I get.
Yeah, I don't care about the jokesters. That's the other thing
to remember about these people that we all talk about. You know, what kind of a base do they actually have that actually listen to them? You know, how many people are actually listening to them?
Even if it's a lot, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care. They know shit.
No,
Nothing.
I don't care.
That's my point, you know. And then,
right.
And then you got fucking the prof whining and crying about it. I said, dude, you brought this shit upon yourself a few years back.
That's because he sits in front of his computer screen all day long and bitches about people because he has to be right. And when he's not right, what does he do? He bitches and complains more. And then everybody gangs up on him because he's a piece of shit. Boom.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
You know, and
it's silly.
It is.
And then for him to start taking advice from all the other kooks, and I said, that's another problem you got, dude. Quit listening to them people because they're leading you down the wrong edge, and look what's happening with you.
Well, he's a grown-ass man. Let him follow whoever advice he wants. That's fine.
Here comes the boss mod. Boss mod Jesus. In the house.
Hey, Jinxie.
Here we go.
Hey, honey.
I know. I'm about to drop a truth bomb really fast, and then I'll let you guys get back to it. April 2023 Memorial Walk in Delphi. Sean Bianchi, boy, your ass was there, and I can prove it. It's on Indie Archives live stream and plenty of other people's live streams that attended that Memorial Walk, homie. You were there, and there was plenty of people who actually did walk down to the crime scene.
Yeah.
For yourself, sir. Oh, and by the way, I don't know what your weird obsession with the Delphi case is. Is it because BG was wearing a Carhartt jacket? Which, you've admitted, and I'm not saying anything that isn't factually relevant and said by himself in comment sections. I've got screenshots too to back it up if you'd like that. But he stated that he worked at the Carhartt factory. So is that your weird obsession? Like, seriously, dude, like, you need to get a wife. Okay, we obviously know that you don't have a wife and you don't have a life, but you really need to go touch some grass. Really need to go touch some grass.
Because you're middling and shit you have no clue about, and you're middling with the wrong fucking people, period.
Oh, my God.
There's that.
You done woke up the bulls.
There's that, sir. Okay, love you, bye.
Bye.
Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Oh, Sean's in the chat. Come up on panel, dude. I ain't hearing this. I ain't hearing no apologies in my chat, dude. You need to come up on this damn panel and apologize to all of us because you're trying to make us look like idiots when you're the idiot.
I'll step down if that happens.
No.
Battle Royale. I will let that happen.
You done fucked up, dude. I done warned your ass at one of the walks. And you continue to do it. You have no clue anything about this case. You don't have no clue about the family.
No.
At all.
I'm so tired of people pretending like they have relationships with these people that they don't have.
Weather tracker chief meteorologist Chuck Collins.
But actually,
oh shit.
Frank has that relationship.
You're damn right. And it took me years.
Exactly.
And there's Farmer. What's up, Farmer?
Hey there, Farmer.
What you puffing on?
Well, hello.
How are you?
the same
Good
thing
to see
I
you,
got.
my friend.
The same thing that I got. Yeah, you done poked the bear, dude. A lot of people let that shit slide when it comes to the family, but I don't.
I don't either.
Because apparently you don't have children. If you had children, you would understand the position you all are putting them in, making them look like they had something to do with unaliving these little girls, man. What is wrong with you? Think of yourself as if you're one of the people that had a child taken from you, and then all of a sudden people started pointing fingers at you.
There you go, Teddy.
Oh,
yeah. Medicinal.
Oh, yeah.
Purely medicinal, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We all
I met
need
a
our
doctor
medicine.
once said I met a doctor once said I needed as much of this shit as I could smoke.
And Sean, where did you apologize at? You sure the hell didn't do it on my YouTube channel or my community page.
Shame.
I don't play that shit, dude. I told you, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're lucky that I just confronted you and had a little stern talk with you at the Memorial Walk. I'm not one of them guys to play games with, dude. You're not going to pull me into this shit with the prof and everything. That's why I'm addressing it now. So your best bet is just to leave the community and leave everybody alone, dude. And don't let me hear about you talking about the family again. Because I'll report that shit in a heartbeat to certain individuals and you ain't going to like it.
Nope.
You know what the funny part is, and I can't speak for them, but I have a feeling like the family really doesn't give a shit about any of this.
They do, trust me. Believe that.
Some of them do because some of them follow social media.
Yeah.
I know. I wish they wouldn't.
I know.
It's so
I know.
stupid.
You know, and Becky's like, I talk to Becky at least once a week. And we just had a talk last week, and we were talking about this, and I said, look, it's really starting to get aggravating that I keep getting dragged into this shit, you know. And she says, I understand. She said, I wish it would just go away. She said, we're just trying to live a normal life now. And I said, I totally understand, and that's what I'm trying to do. I said, why do you think I never asked you for an interview?
Yep.
Well, you know, I think it would be nice to, like, whenever they wanted to get anything off their chest, you know, now that they can talk, like if it's something that they want to do, like that's cool. But
right
after that, like, what else is there to talk about? You know,
I know they have their own story to tell. They were quieted for so long.
Right, and you got to think now that they've like everything has happened, and even though it's over in quotes, they're still got to be processing everything that's going on and how their lives are now. It's like
I don't think you ever get over something like that the rest of your life.
No, you never do. But I thought about it when he was caught. Like
and another thing that really gets to me is I understand Becky and them. They're grown. They've got grandkids, great grandkids. But when it comes to Kelsey, I am very protective of her because she was just a child when this happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And now she's got two small children of her own, and she doesn't need this shit.
No. And I honestly hope she stays out of all of it. There's no point to look at any of the shit because the people that are putting it out
she's not allowed to have fun on the internet because there are some bad actors, though. Like, that's not very fair to them.
Right.
As a family, in my opinion.
And what's sad is that Kelsey was trying
Kristen, I'm sorry. Hang on. By the way, I heard you say hi earlier. You look great. It is good to see you, Kristen, Frank, all of you, Teddy. You still have that crazy look. You're always the same emoji. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
But you two look great. And and it's wonderful to see both of your shining faces. Go ahead now.
I went through some pictures today, and I found pictures of all of us.
All right, Kristen.
At the Mexican restaurant, having lunch together with the family, all of his friends and everything. And I posted them. I wanted to show these people what kind of connection we have with the family, with all of us friends.
Right.
And you're not going to be
I've
able to
never been-
break that bond. Period.
They would love me. I know they would love me.
It's what I started to say about Kelsey was before the crazies really got hard hitting with her, she was building a following on X, or on Twitter, trying to help other families and advocate for other people who have gone through what she has gone through. And she was, she was trying to do that. And then she had to leave social media because of the crazies.
Oh, yeah,
people.
sure.
And
So ridiculous.
and that's sad because she has a lot to give. As a person who is a survivor of what she survived, she can help other people go through what they're about to go through. And I mean, know
having
that
people been
victimized
enough, Yeah.
And I think she still will. She's posted a couple things here and there, but now
I'd rather see her do the family thing and posting all that and worry about all these fools.
Well, right, and she also just had a child. Like, she's probably more concerned with that than posting on social media.
Why should we be limiting her creative time? I mean, if she wants to do something like that, why should the general population be fucking hassling her? It's really annoying.
It is.
Not you guys.
Right.
I know you guys.
Right.
I'm saying, but it's just why do people? I mean, it goes right back to like the golden rule. All these Christians claim to be Christian too, and I'm not claiming to be a Christian. But I'll tell you what, I treat fucking people how I expect to be treated.
Exactly.
It's
about respect.
And I'm here to tell you that these people that are claiming to be Christians, coming from me, who's a Christian, they are not Christians. They are not Christ-like in any way, shape, or form, because you don't behave that way. Christ didn't behave that way.
Also, they need to remember that revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yep.
People are very mental illness is definitely a thing, and we all deal with it in some way, shape, or form. But these people, they won't let it go, and it is what it is. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm half nuts.
I mean, I think we all are in some way.
Well, I've been on YouTube for 15 years, and I have never seen such shit in my life all the years that I've been on here. Especially when it comes to the Delphi case.
The case is over.
It's beside the fucking point. It's
and now they don't know
what
to do with themselves.
You're right, Farmer.
I mean, look, I have done a show, not gonna lie. I'm not contending the guilt of Richard asshole Allen. Fry that dude for all I care. I want to get to what took 6 years to get him there. That's where I think there's been some malfeasance, and I don't think that means someone helped anybody kill anyone or there's some overriding conspiracy. But when you got a guy that self-reports 2 days after a murder, and then he's not even interviewed, and remember, Dan Doolin was tasked with that.
Let me stop you for just a second. Is this the necessary evil that was brought to my attention last night during our live show? Because if you're in here and listening to what we're saying and going back to Prof, get the hell out of my chat.
Yeah, what Frank said. Thank you. And so I won't go on about the whole thing, but I mean, I just do feel like there are a few points to get answered, but not in terms of, oh, well, Richard Allen is in it. This is going to show he's innocent. Come on, the guy's bridge guy, for Christ's sake. You'd have to be a moron not to believe that. You really would. Right. He said he was there at the time, in the clothes, on the day. Hello.
And then he wants to admit to the white man.
It took 6 years to get his ass in prison.
If you guys watched the last video that Fig Solves put out, he nailed it. I told him, I said, he keeps nailing it every time he does a video, but this last one, I mean, I don't know how you can watch any of that and say, oh shit, this man's as innocent as they come. I just don't know where that comes from.
Well, I want to answer necessarily evil, bad police work. We all agree there was some fuck ups in the investigation. We can all agree on that.
I don't even know if that's what.
Hold on. It's a learning experience for that community, that county, because they have never had to deal with a situation like this before, ever.
And there's mistakes made in every case.
Look,
in every case,
let's put it all to bed, because people still to this day, I hear people.
I want to know who wrote clear down that tip narrative. I want to know who wrote clear down that tip narrative.
I think we all do. But the problem is, at that time, but look at it like this. Right. I agree with you. People do need to be held to account. But if no one that's currently there, working for the prosecution, working for the investigation, working for Carroll County law enforcement, if they do not know who did that, and this is the only thing that I can think of, because I agree with you.
The person knows who did it, and they just don't want to come forward.
But hold on a second. At the time that all of this was going on, you had Carroll County, you had Indiana State Police, you had FBI, you had all these people, and you had everyday citizens working those tip lines.
Good point, Teddy.
In the beginning phases, you don't know who was looking at those files. Yeah, it was the investigative team, but that investigative team changed so much over the years, and people don't take that into account. I've heard so many people talk about Dan Doolin and how the hell did he not know that it was this guy when he got on the stand and he talked.
Well, that's not his job. I mean,
exactly. But that's hold on. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, though.
I'd like to refer.
Hold on, guys. Let each of you quit talking over each other, because I see somebody's getting frustrated over here. Teddy, continue what you're saying.
Nobody's getting frustrated. We're all friends here.
We are, but I can see Farmer over there.
He's getting frustrated. Oh,
yeah.
Well, no, but
I'm illuminated. The sun's coming through the window.
I just wanted to point out that this guy got on the stand and explained how he had just got back from a vacation and went back to his small town. And all of a sudden, he's thrust into the middle of this gigantic murder investigation as a conservation officer, and he's told, hey, go talk. He's not?
He's not a conservation officer. He's the lieutenant of the Department of Natural Resources. He had to go through the same classes that every state police, county, and local cop had to go through. It's called where you learn how to interview people who have been sexually assaulted. You learn how to investigate murders, how to tape off crime scenes, how to secure crime scenes. He went through all that training, so stop giving him those breaks.
But you got to understand, in the same sense, he was not put on this case as an investigator.
He was put on.
No.
He was absolutely put on it by the state police to follow up leads. Yes, he was on the 13th of February.
Yeah,
by the way, he got that lead
let
on
me
the 16th,
say something.
but he waited until the 18th to follow up on it.
Hold on. Calm down.
About Dan Doolin, when Dan Doolin got that tip and actually interviewed Richard Allen, we all know, and we've talked about this at length on my show, on Frank's show, he was more interested in the three girls. He wrote at the bottom of the tip sheet for them to check out who these three girls. He was more concerned about this being a peer-to-peer situation versus Richard Allen being there. Now, that was his initial thought. And I'm not trying to defend anyone here. I don't know who wrote clear.
And I'm not trying to accuse him of anything. I want to be clear.
I think it could be very, very innocent, actually, that somebody accidentally wrote cleared on this tip sheet.
Well,
and I know that seems
Kristen,
ridiculous to most people. But when you're dealing with volumes of paper that they had to deal with by hand, and like Frank said, they had people in there that were just regular people off the street helping them.
So
all these things, you have to take it all into consideration. And we can look at everything hindsight and say, well, they should have done this. They should have done.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
So I want to know what in this process broke that led to the person who did the killing admitting that he was there at the time in the clothes on the day with the day off work, cross-corroborated, thanks for bringing that up, Kristen, with 3 witnesses, which they both said they saw, which Dan Doolin knew. And then 2 years later, in front of a live press conference, Carter's begging if anyone knew about a car parked at, at the old CPS.
No,
but,
who drove it? Well, they knew about the car. He wanted to know the driver.
Hold on a second.
Drove the car.
Hold on a second, though. So I didn't know about his official title of what he was and the classes that he took. So that's good looking out.
He's not fixing the wings on birds.
Right.
That's what conservation officers are doing, He's not a fish and game warden.
Okay. And I understand that. And I believe you. I mean, I haven't looked at it. I'm not saying that he has.
I want to stop everybody. I don't know who Charles Manson is. Trash will always be trash, Toodles. Anybody that comes into a chat that is talking about dead children as Charles Manson, you need to reevaluate who the fuck you are.
Piss off.
All right,
throw that guy out.
Mental illness.
He's gone. No, he's not.
I swear to God.
Bored.
So anyways.
Just bored people. So bored.
Sorry, guys.
Well, he's gone. No, he's
good
not.
eye, though,
I got his
Kristen.
ass.
Good eye.
Get it, guys. Somebody get his ass.
As far as anything with
that's a great picture, yeah.
His testimony
get that fucking shit off my screen.
Was that
thank you, honey.
What a loser.
He was supposed to go get this information from the people that he was talking to and then send it off to the investigators of the case, and they were supposed to look at stuff.
He did that.
Right. He did that. Exact. No, wait, hold on.
Man, what is going on? What's going on in my chat?
But what happened, Teddy, after that? Let me tell you. He not only did he do that, not only did he, can I make a point? Not only did he do that, he did what he was supposed to do. He completed his report. He entered it into the central database, which feeds into all the departments, some even statewide, not even listed in the Big Four.
Good question. I'm trying to figure out what she's saying here.
He
Keep
did
up the
that.
dots
And
and get threats with
then moving beyond that is,
what the hell is he talking about?
Whatever my question was with Dan Doolin, why then did it take 6 years to put anything together when they said clearly this went into the central database, yet nobody from 5 different departments bothered to look at it, and it takes a volunteer secretary to figure it out, like some kind of defuncto Nancy Drew 6 years later? What the
Exactly.
fuck?
Exactly. And it pisses people off, right?
Yeah, I'm mad about it. And I want answers like who did what.
And I think everybody's pissed off.
They're paid with public dollars.
Right.
They need to answer to not me, but to somebody on a panel that knows. I'm not saying it should be public information even, but someone needs to look into who screwed the pooch here.
That would be the Justice Department would do the investigation on something like that.
Do you think, though, with all the people in those first few days looking at what they were looking at, this is what I want to know. Yes, Dan Doolin talked about the 3 girls that Richard Allen saw when he was on the trails. At that point in the investigation, they had talked to people. They had this information. This is just my opinion here, but the reason they were able to put it all together so well once Shank found that tip from Richard Allen is because they had 5.5 years to go over that entire investigation from start to finish, talk to any of the witnesses that they saw. And at that point, they had all the extra information that they needed for when they had a person to put in place.
That's your opinion on how things came in?
No. What I'm saying is, at that point, they had so many years to go over all the information that they had gathered. They had the time to go over Kagan Klein. They had the time to go over Ron Logan and all the people that they had in the very early days, the first 10 days of the investigation, when everyone and their brother was in Delphi trying to help them. We don't know if it was somebody from fuck all Arkansas or whoever who was looking at this stuff. I don't know, and you don't know, and no one on this panel knows. What I'm saying is that who was looking at all of these tips coming in. Because you can't tell me that Jerry Holman was seeing every single tip and going, yep, that can't be the guy, that can't be the guy, that can't be the guy.
No,
and and that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's
good luck
trying
to figure it out. I tried to figure out who was in charge of clearing tips, and that's a muck and a what always goes with muck, everyone. Meyer. Even though we don't know what that means. That's muck and Meyer. You can't get about him too.
That's my point. It's frustrating.
That's
I
my
totally
point, too.
understand
Thank you.
that.
And
Right.
the
And
people-
I agree with you.
The people who attacked Kathy Shanks, I mean,
They're
I
fucking
gotta thank you.
scumbags.
these people
Fuck
are
'em.
asinine.
She could very well be
because,
the hero of the story.
my God, you know,
Well,
if
she,
it
I mean,
wasn't
either
for
way you look
her
at it, she
knowing,
is.
She is the hero.
Right.
Yeah.
Because whether they did it,
What a
fucking
sad
people will
statement for law enforcement.
right.
5
And
agencies.
it is. It is.
And you also got to look at it this way. I don't think the 3 teenage girls were revealed at that point in time when Richard Allen went and gave his information to Dan Doolin at that time.
Yeah. Well,
Were they-
yeah, they did. Yes,
They
they
were
did.
because he
told
wrote it
Dan
at the
Doolin
bottom
that-
of the
that he
tip sheet.
saw 3
Well,
girls.
I'm talking about in the public eye.
Oh yeah, no, I
No,
don't think
not in the public
knew.
eye.
Right.
But I
right.
can tell you something right now because it was
that's all in
something
the
that stuck
centralized
out to
database.
me. It was something that stuck out to me very clearly, and it was
That's what Richard
some-
Allen did that only Dan Doolin had exclusive rights to look at, and this makes no sense. And this is nothing against Dan Doolin. He heightened by 2 inches on an official state document, and it was a huge red flag. In fact, Delphi should have a factory that manufactures big red flags. Because I'm telling you what. Thank you, Frank. Because I'm telling you what. God damn it. It's ridiculous. Come on. I mean, talk about a red flag. He heightened by 2 inches, and I brought this up in Sleuth Intuition's Discord when it first happened. When we found out that in the fall of 2022, right before his arrest, that Holman called Doolin, said, look through there and see, and he goes, hey, that would have been a red flag. Well, if this database was so consolidated, then why did that state agency of the DNR not even have access to that simple information, which 6 weeks after the murder, he did that, could have been a huge red flag and an indicator that he was guilty? Why weren't those things tied together? Those are the kinds of things I'm trying to, not that fucking Richard Allen is innocent. So I don't want to hear about that.
Well, he's not innocent. I mean, no matter what anybody says, there is absolutely zero fucking anything that points to anybody else, no matter what prof or whatever any one of these cocksuckers want to say, because they have nothing else to fucking talk about.
You cannot go into a court of law with zero evidence and and just blow up charges for somebody.
Exactly.
And if that's what they're trying to do, you can't do that with the Kleins. You can't do that with anybody. You have to have evidence. That's how our justice system works.
The problem is there are a lot of times where shit is. Think about Carroll County. Think about that county and think about how small that police force was, and think about that case. They came onto that day and knew how large that case was, and they all have talked about it after the fact. I know that it pisses people off, but you have to take that into consideration.
Every time you say shit like that, it pisses me off, man.
Just ask Robert Ives.
It's really easy to be a Monday morning quarterback.
And by the way,
exactly.
Judge Diener or whatever his name was that recused himself because he thought it might get a little bit too heavy for himself, whatever. He was
his family got death threats.
Okay, listen, but that's what judges do. That's what judges do. They don't cut and run. Judge Gall should be also considered a hero here.
But I would put it to you like this.
Wow, you weren't expecting that, were you?
Well, that's a different
level.
I
was.
To me.
I expect everything. But what I'm saying is,
different level of judges there. That's the way I see that.
I was just going to say, Diener doesn't even come close to the same kind of a judge that Gull is, or the experience.
He was worried about
getting ready to retire anyway.
Well,
and I just feel like he was like, "I'm done. I am not going to put myself
every
and my
judge
family
has to worry about, Frank. That when you take on the responsibility of being a judge, that is one of the things you have to worry about. Yes, I would, but I wouldn't.
Did you see that Judge Gull had protection with her everywhere she went? Carroll County can't supply that for a judge.
That's my point.
You can see why. There were people protesting outside the courthouse that basically wanted her head on a spit.
I mean, there were people on Discord that were saying that they were going to kill her and do all this other stuff.
Exactly.
Well, my point is, you look at the police force in Carroll County. Imagine how the judge in Carroll County feels. Nothing like this has happened in his whole tenure as judge. I'm not a judge. I don't know.
It up the first time, then is all I can say.
Well,
does that sound cynical?
You can say that he fucked it up, but at the end of the day, the conviction happened, and the person that did this is in prison.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that he couldn't
I
have
think
gotten that
it's the
either.
best. I
You know
think the
what?
best thing
I
happened for the
concede
case that we got
absolutely
Gall.
concede that point, Teddy. That's a
But-
great
and-
point. And if they got one thing right, they got that son of a bitch off the street.
And that's what
I
I'm
just
saying
wanna
is
know
like,
why it took 6 years.
if he was somebody that went ahead and prosecuted this case and he was the presiding judge and he didn't feel comfortable, do you think he would have had the same resolve that Judge Gall did? She obviously, from what I've heard, she's presided over a lot of really heinous murder cases.
She's
I
got
don't know
another
if
one
he
she's
has.
dealing with right now.
I bet
Yeah.
she does. And I bet she's being an
You
asshole to
know,
the gallery like she was with us.
I don't
But,
find
you
that to
know-
be a
Let
valid.
me tell you,
I don't find that to be a
Judge
valid
Gall-
excuse for anything in a career move or anything
Judge
in a
Gall-
personal move, because during times of great stress and times of great need, that's when, as a judge or someone in that position, you fucking step up, not out. Sorry,
That's
Well,
true, but
that's
we're not
someone
all
I
that
want in my
strong.
trench with me. That's not somebody I want in my
Jinx is
trench
right,
with me when
though.
the
same
column's
people that
coming
are
over the hill.
bitching. Jinx is right. The same people that are fussing and bitching about how much all this cost Carroll County are the part of the people that were part of the problem that caused all the excess security.
Yep.
That
Money is
had to
gonna
be
cost more.
That's for
bought
damn
for
sure.
this- For this,
That's
you
for
know,
damn fucking sure.
but I
his
will
trial.
tell
They
you
can
this
spend
right
$3,000
now.
on a toilet seat. Then
Can I get a word
they
in?
can spend $3,000
Can
for a toilet
I
seat.
get a word in?
Sorry, it
Thank
is your
you.
show. Shit. Sorry, Frank.
I will tell you this. Judge Gall is one of the top dogs as far as judges in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the top dogs.
Thumbs up.
She'll make the Supreme Court. Mark my
Yes.
words. If she doesn't retire, she will make the Supreme Court because she's on the fast track for it right now.
Yep.
That's not the cool. That's not the cool or popular thing to say, but it is the correct thing to say.
It is.
So thank you for saying it, Frank.
You know, I mean, I understand people have a lot of issues with Judge Gall, but people like us, we see exactly what she sees when it comes to the law. We're
You know what she did that
interpreting-
impressed me?
Hold on.
She made decisions. Sorry. She made decisions.
We were interpreting the law the same way she was. Okay? We understood what she was telling us when it came to law, but these other, don't even want to say it, you know who I'm talking about, those other ones out there completely ignore the law. When it comes to the Odin, Keegan Klein, Ron Logan, third party, how many times does Judge Gall have to say, bring me some type of physical, forensic, or something evidence to prove they were there, and then maybe I'll let you let it in.
The law is the law. You can't change it because the defense wants to. And she had to keep them reined in, obviously, because this defense team was off the rails for a while.
Yep.
She had to, you know, they were trying their best. I'm gonna say, you know,
They pushed the limits with her. I can tell you that.
They absolutely pushed the limits, and they tried everything. And I knew they were going to throw everything at the wall to see if it would stick. And that's what they did. And how many times did she have to tell them that we've rehashed this over and over in motion after motion after motion with you guys? And I've told you over and over, you're not coming with anything new. It's the same shit, just a different day.
Yep.
And she got sick of it.
It really was the whole situation with that defense team. And I still feel this in my heart to this day, and it's not going to change. I do believe Richard Allen went to them and said, look, I did do it. I want to confess, but they would not let him because they were milking the fucking state's money.
Hey,
she's dealing with
Don't say
Baldwin
that.
right now in her new case. In her new case that she's handling right now. She's got Baldwin again. I'm sure that she is like, what the hell did I do to deserve this?
All right, look. Love you guys. That dude's fucking guilty. It's all fucked up.
Agreed.
But before I bounce, and I'm gonna leave real quick because I gotta tell you something. Karen Reed's guilty as fuck too. I'm sorry. She's guilty. I'm gonna leave. You guys can talk amongst yourselves about that, but she's fucking guilty. I don't give a shit. Yeah. Well, she's guilty. That's all you gotta know. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Teddy. Bye. By the way, Teddy, good being on a show with you, Teddy. By the way.
Yeah,
That was nice.
you know,
I like
that's the bad part about being involved in the true crime. When you sit and watch these attorneys do that, and it's not against the law, but it's a moral thing to me, ethical thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just like,
Did
you know,
guys ever wonder about, because I've never seen anybody, all the defense people that are pro Richard Allen and whatever, none of them will explain why in 2019 at that press conference, when Doug Carter stood up there and said, we need the public's help or someone to come forward to say who was driving the car that was parked at the CPS building. They didn't ask us about the car. They didn't ask us what kind of car. They wanted to know the driver. Why didn't Richard Allen, if he's so freaking innocent, why didn't Richard Allen come forward that day and say, I was driving, I parked there too. Do you need to talk to me? Hell no, he didn't.
And
Why?
And there's another thing that no one's ever going to convince me of.
Good point.
Kathy Allen. I don't give a damn. Once he told her that he was at the trails that day, you're not going to tell me all through the years that it was not running through her fucking head that it was her husband that did it. Not going to tell me. Not going to tell me that. Because I tell you what.
I'm not a Kathy Allen sycophant. I'm not going to eat her 3-bean salad at the potluck. But I will say that having lived across the street from a serial killer, Brian Sugram in Kalamazoo, my mom was the godmother to his children. It's quite a story. It was a Dateline NBC. You can see it there if you ever want to, Google it. That I got some serious questions like you do, Frank, but I can't go any further because they're still friends of the family. We could talk off the air, though. Shit, that didn't come out how I wanted.
All I can say to that is this. I'm not going to attack Kathy Allen at all.
I'm not going to. I mean, she's a victim, too.
Because I believe that she's a victim. And when I saw her, this is what I got from the interrogation videos, from watching them. And I've watched them over and over again. I can't tell you how many times, but I have watched them, broke them down, watched them in segments, took notes. She was meek. That woman, everybody thought that she was the one wearing the pants in that family.
Right.
He was not, you guys. Yeah. And he had manipulated the hell out of her. And I firmly
believe... She almost fawned over him almost. And,
I believe that she may have had some kind of an inkling, Frank, but at the same time, I don't think her conscience would allow her to go there.
Right. And
he lied to her. He told her he was there, but he didn't tell her he went out on the bridge, and he told her he went to the police. So when the police didn't come after him, she's like, well, it's not him. You see what I mean?
I get all that.
But when you look at that video, yes, you're going to know that that's your husband. I just can't. And
another thing is, after watching the videos with her and Richard in the interrogation room, I see a different Kathy Allen there than I've seen in person.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I saw her
completely
twice.
Different.
Frank, you ain't never been to a courtroom or in Delphi before, Frank. Don't bullshit
nobody. When I saw
her
out in the hallway with her friends, and watched her interact with them and the laughing and everything that, you know what I mean, that she was doing and going on and on about and stuff, to see that side of her versus the side that I saw in the interrogation videos, it was like looking at a completely different person.
Yeah.
No video.
And I felt the same way.
You weren't like,
because once I knew that the defense had gotten to her and compared what I seen in person compared to the videos, I was like, yep, they done convinced her it wasn't him, because in those videos, you could tell she knew it was him.
And I think that's why she was crying when, you didn't tell me that you were on the bridge. You know what I mean? And he's like, you're not in trouble. You see how he kind of just glossed over all that, like, and threw it all onto her. Like, well, it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. instead of owning up to, yeah, I know I lied to you. You know?
And then for him to go at home and say, you leave my wife out of it. That's a big sign to me, too, when it comes to Richard Allen. So you're willing to take the rap. Is that what you're saying? If they leave your wife out of it?
Oh, yeah. Well, see, again, he was trying to protect her. I think that if she did know or had an inkling, he was worried about that. And I think that I think he was trying to protect her.
Well, I get all that, but I mean,
I just really think so.
All the years that passed
I do
after
believe they're
that,
dependent on one another.
I think it's more that he's dependent on her than she is on him. And that's how I feel about it.
Well, only time will tell because she's still not divorced him. So
that we know of or filed for divorce.
Right.
I haven't checked in a while.
Kristen, did I hear you right that you said you're going to be doing a few on the Idaho 4?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you something. Oh, hi, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
Do you think it'd be weird if there was an internationally known, very famous band who is from the same town that originally the founding members from the same town that he's from, whose cousin was also in the graduate class on how to get away with murder, and they played a show in the town over the night before that half the people that were possibly involved went to?
No.
Do you think that's odd?
No. I think it's a nothing burger. I think Brian Koberger's as guilty as they come.
It's a Koberger.
Yeah, it's a Koberger. No, seriously, I don't. I think
you really don't? That's like 3 things in a row.
I absolutely don't. Brian Koberger is as guilty as they come.
And this is why I would never want to be a judge.
My feeling is that this man, he was trying to commit the most. To me, he was trying to commit the perfect murder. He thought he was smarter than everyone else in the room.
And trying to use his college education
and I
to
think
do
that
it.
he was trying to impress Catherine Ramsland, who is notorious. I mean, she's so famous for her study of serial killers. And I believe wholeheartedly that he is a psychopath, that this has been on his mind for a very, very long time. And I do believe that he was Jolly Roger or whatever his name was on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
The one where he was
I don't think it said anything to his innocence, but I thought it was weird that this lead singer's cousin is in the same graduate program, and then they're from the same town, and also they played a makeup show right there at the college, one college over, all right then. And I just was like, wow, that is and that's not to say anything to his guilt or innocence. I just thought this particular chain of oddities from an internationally known famous band was weird, just weird.
I mean,
there's a lot of times there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. But Papa Roger,
and that band was the Flaming Lips. That band was the Flaming Lips.
Yeah, Papa Roger.
Wayne Coyne of the Flaming Lips is from that town in Pennsylvania.
I think that Brian Koberger had a fixation with Ted Bundy, and I think that he was. You know, what's weird is, and what's come out in court just recently in the last month, is all the YouTubers he was watching. He was watching the interview room. He was watching, what's that guy's name? He's a psychologist. Dr. Grande, I think, is that his name? He was watching him. He's been watching a lot of coverage of himself.
And see, I think that Richard Allen did the same thing.
And I think Richard Allen was doing that as well.
Yep.
I still say when Richard Allen locked eyes with me when I went into the courtroom and stared at me the way he did and like stared right through me, I was like, does this guy know me? Does this guy recognize? Why is he looking at me like this? That was weird.
Well, I'll
really
tell you what,
weird.
One day we were all in the courtroom when we were going to break. Something happened in the courtroom, and one of Kathy's friends looked over at me, and I blurted out something in the courtroom about his voice. I think it was Richard Allen's voice, and all of a sudden, this chick looked at me and said, "Hey, Frank, that's enough. We don't need to hear that shit." And I said, "Fuck you. I say what I say and what I want to say it. Right in the courtroom. And Holman walks up and said, Frank's going to be Frank. You know, I'm blunt about this shit. You know,
well, we'll play a drinking game. Every time you say fuck you, we got to do a shot, you know.
You know, and you talk about Richard Allen during, I think it wasn't the sentencing, but there was one time, it was during the sentencing. Kathy was Kathy in the front row? I think so. The family was in the front row, and Bob Mata walks into the courtroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Puts his hand on Kathy's shoulder.
I remember.
And Richard Allen looked right over her, and I said, damn, if looks could kill right now, Mata would be dead on his floor.
He was like that every time Mata was interacting with her, whether he was sitting next to her or leaning in and talking to her or whatever. Richard Allen was not happy.
Yep, he's one of those jealous types. It was blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
You know. It looks like we got Miss Debs in the house.
She is. She made the comment that he looked at all of the YouTubers like that in court. He knew. She said he watched all of us. She firmly believes he knew all of us.
And then who's this Eli McCullough?
Don't know.
He didn't know me. I do the one exception. Nobody knows me, Kristen. Nobody, not a damn person.
I know Justice Sir Daly's in here somewhere.
Justice.
I know who you are.
I know.
Well, we all know who Farmer is. Damn.
I interviewed Justice too. It was a great interview.
Yeah, that's right. Badass American's right. Look at the look he gave Kathy when she surprised him in the car. That is not the eyes or the look of a sane individual.
You know, hell, Derek's Farmer started off in Discord a few years back.
Eli McCullough says they're a new listener.
New listener, thank you for joining us. We're just
Frank
all over the place.
And so is Kristen.
You know, we just talk about whatever. We're trying to get away from Delphi, but it seems like the Lulus like to drag us right back into it.
I had a whole concept. I wanted to do a whole little cartoon thing about and make us all barnyard animals. I thought Mr. Steve could be the detective goat, you know, greatest of all time because he's detective, you know. And then I had Marv and Frank. Frank is the rooster. Marv's like the hen, you know. And he's like yelling at her, like, your droppings are going all over the crime scene, you know, and shit like that. Well, it's going to be really good. But I figured everyone would get mad at me. So,
yeah, me and Marv did a lot of good work together while it lasted, you know. But we learned a lot, too, because we were new.
I learned a lot.
You know, actually, I wasn't new. I was in the chat a lot of different shit since the mid-fall of 2021. And then
I love Marv.
You know, and
I learned so much from this case. The 8 years that I followed it, I learned so much about myself as a person. Yeah. I learned so many things about other people, about the whole true crime community online. That I never even would have begun to imagine. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. If it wasn't for the people that follow us, you know.
Deb, thank you. I love you.
Everybody that has followed us over the years, you've all seen us start from scratch, you know, make mistakes because we've all made them, you know, but we learned from them. And this is where we are today. I think the biggest mistake that everybody made over the last few years is the false arrest of Tony Klein. Everybody jumped on that bandwagon so damn fast that day, and then come to find out it was a hoax.
I missed that one. I've been busy working. I missed that one.
Oh my God, that was insane. That was insane.
It was crazy.
It was.
I mean, this is a time when you had 600, 700, 800 people in your chat when you broadcast something like that.
Oh, you're talking a while back. I thought this something just happened.
Oh God, no, this was
I remember that.
No, this was way back. And you know, that was before even Richard Allen was ever even on the radar.
And we've got to thank somebody in the chat because she got the true information. Miss Deb's True Crime Notebook is the one who got the true information for us.
In fact, Deb was on the very first show I ever went on.
Deb had a friend who was following him.
And
he had just gone to the pet store to get dog food.
Yeah. And she came and started messages, false alarm. I'm like,
Yep. And I will, like I said, I will never, ever forget when they did arrest him and they announced it on my birthday. I was like, when they held that press conference on my birthday, I was like, this is the best birthday present.
Wait a minute. Isn't your birthday on Halloween?
Yeah.
And see,
well, you can't. Wait a minute.
Me and Marv's birthday is on the 4th of July. So is Sonny's. Isn't Sonny's the same day? The 4th of July?
I love that.
What?
Isn't Sonny's the 4th of July also? I know there's 3 of us.
Well, Sonny doesn't care about the 4th of July. She's playing Canadian football.
They don't have an independence like we do. Yeah, Phil Bond is awesome, guys, man.
I love him.
Me, Rescue, Jinx all went up. We all did
I like when she said, Phil, get on it. Where's Tony? Go find him. Oh, he's at the Farm and Fleet buying dog food.
We went memorialized Jordan Sofer's spot where her remains were found, me, Jinx, and Rescue. So after that, we drove up to Peru and met with Phil Bond and went to this little ice cream stand. Man, that was some shit there, boy. I was like, I got to go back there.
The old lickety split.
I had me a big old large strawberry shake is what I had.
It's getting really windy here and crazy, so I'm gonna hop off here. I've been on.
All right, yeah, we've been here about an hour and 15 minutes. About time to wind it down.
But it's good to see all of you and be with all of you again. I love, like I said, bouncing this stuff off and talking about it. But yeah, let's start talking about some other cases. Delphi's done. I mean, obviously there's going to be an appeal, and we know that.
We really need to start working together on the Flora thing, man.
We absolutely do.
I mean, we keep saying that, but I mean, but nobody wants to put forth the effort to do anything. The only person I really know that really keeps her hands in it, Jinx.
Yep.
She's the only one.
I still keep in contact with Galen, and I talk to her, and so. You know, the girls are never far from my mind, but we absolutely need to start talking more about Flora.
Yeah.
And we also need to talk more about Evansdale. I'm sorry, those cases are huge, and they need solved. Evansdale is way too long. We need some help and we need some coverage.
We need to push it over the edge because I know they're making headway, but
I know they are. And I know that
they're both absolutely as compelling. They're both absolutely as compelling cases as the Delphi case, in my opinion. And I don't think the girls would mind at all if we moved on and went on to another case.
Absolutely not.
Like I said before, and I keep an eye on the appellate court. Anything that happens, I let everybody know. Okay? But Jinx, Coach Kev, and individuals like that are deep into the Florida case, get with us if there's something you want us to do.
Hey, Kev, good luck. Good luck, my dear.
Coach Kev. Yep. He's
much love. I hope you win. He's running for school board.
I don't see your email, Frank. Frank, you got email, Frank?
Give me a second.
I mean, you don't have to say it.
But I'll see you guys later. Love you all.
Bye,
talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you.
What the hell?
I love her. I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't mean to come on and blabber.
No, you're good. Kristen is good people, man. She is good people.
I know. I love her. Yeah.
I mean,
you guys are both early influences of me. You know.
I mean, the people in my chat these are all good people.
They're the best.
All of them are. I have met just about everybody in my chat, plus hundreds more when it comes to that.
You know, I live so much closer to Indiana now. I'm so looking forward to I finally got a car again. I'm getting my life back together too, you know.
You need to drive down to Delphi, dude.
Well, I don't want to do it without any of you guys being there. I'd be a little nervous, but if you guys are all there, I'd love to come down.
I'm sure we can make arrangements for a few of us to go up there one day and meet you up there. So
I'd love
we
that.
can take you around and get to see the sights out there.
I have a Toyota Camry now, you know. I mean, it's golden.
Hey, it gets you back and forth where you need to go, doesn't it? That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's a 33. It's a 33-year-old Camry. It's a one owner out of Arizona. Got it for $1,200. My mechanic sourced it for me, and it's a badass whip ass ride. I love it.
Those cars last a long time anyway. But
not a lick of rust on it yet.
Right. But I want to thank.
Anyways, I'll get off here. Let you finish up, Mr. Frankmeister, and but I'm gonna email you my new phone number. Okay, I just want to tell you.
All right, no problem, bro. Talk to you later.
All right, you take care now. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks. I do want to thank Cecil Hotel for the $5 super sticker. Greatly appreciated. Thank you to my mods who looked out tonight. Love you guys, and to everybody else that showed up to hang out and listen to our bitch session again. Greatly appreciate it. Love all you guys also. But until next time, you know what time it is. Peace out. One love, guys. Good night.